What's up, entrepreneurs? Hello, my name is Tessa, and I'm the Director of Marketing at IdeaPros. And I have Fred Cary, that side, Fred Cary, who is CEO of IdeaPros. And we're doing a show today all about asking Fred questions. Like, I think Fred actually, he's so patient with me and all of these questions. I tend to throw them at him kind of willy-nilly. So you guys can actually put comments in the chat if you want us to ask a question, but we do have a list that was already submitted. So we're going to go through those first. And some questions, Fred mentioned, actually, there's a couple that we're going to have on a marketing show. So if you asked a question more focused at marketing, we might be holding that for a separate show. So Fred, we're going to start off right off the bat with when your product is ready to launch, what does it take from the entrepreneur? What goes into it?
This is good, and this is an appropriate time. First of all, hi everybody. Second, this is an appropriate time really to direct you all to my last Wednesday live on Instagram. You can find it if you go to my Instagram, go to the IGTV section. It's the last one there. I tell a story there about a 25-year-old entrepreneur who basically got his ass kicked very strongly, lost a whole lot of money when he first went into the concert production business. And the story about it is pretty sad, but ends up with a happy ending. And the entrepreneur was me. And so this question here, what it takes heroic efforts. I mean, especially if you're working by yourself, not having a partner like us. But even then, when it's time for you to launch as an entrepreneur, you're the boss, you're the CEO. You have to find a way to make things happen. So what it takes is a lot of resilience. It takes a ton of patience. It takes this just attitude of not giving up and not quitting and figuring out what you need and how you're going to get it. So when it's like the lights go on, right? You're on stage, all of a sudden, boom, the audience is there, the lights are on. You can't forget your lines. And your lines are everything that you need to do to get from zero to hero. And that means you have to be prepared for the minimum quantities. If you have a physical product, you know, what do I need to get to be able to start selling this? Where are you going to sell it? How are you going to sell it? Where are you going to store it? How are you going to deal with customer service? Just, it goes on and on and on. And you have to, as the boss, you have to have all those things under your realm. You can't depend on anybody else. You can't look to anybody else. You are the entrepreneur who woke up countless nights dreaming of this thing. And now it's live. Now all of a sudden that baby's delivered and you have to take care of it for the rest of its life. So as an entrepreneur, it's your obligation to your dream to make that dream a reality. And it's on you, no matter what you have to do, short of robbing a bank.
Short of robbing a bank. I love it. That's good advice. And I am going to have Leticia grab that Instagram link and put it in the chat so you guys can get at that one. But we're going to add it in a little bit because we don't want you to leave quite yet. We have lots of great questions here. So we have a question from Jared, who
we don't know if we have great answers.
Fred always has good answers. Fred, Jared's asking, what are some rules of thumb for business that you could share with us? Fred's rules of thumb.
Yeah, so my rules of thumb are a lot different than, you know, the 80-20 rule or things like that. How many employees you should have for however big your business is. My rules of thumb are pretty simple, and you're going to find that they happen over and over and over again. The biggest rule of thumb I have is nothing's ever going to work out the way you planned it. And if you plan for things not working out as you planned, then you're going to be able to stay sane a lot longer. That's number one, right? Everything you try to do, you are going to have to be ready at the drop of a hat to make an abrupt change. I have an example right now of, thank God it doesn't look like there's any issue with it, but there could have been. One of our products is getting ready to go. We're going to do crowdfunding. We have all this collateral. And I just happened to ask at the end, hey, did you bother getting the name trademark? Well, no, that hasn't happened. Nobody told me to do it. So now, as an entrepreneur, you got all this collateral, you got all these people, you're ready to rock and roll, and your name may not be any good. And it's everywhere. It's on your website. It's, you know, it's on your advertising materials. It's on your videos. And so when I see something like that, I expect it. I'm like, oh, okay, well, we're starting a company and somebody missed this. Let's try to fix it. The regular first-time entrepreneur is going to want to jump out a window because if you're so impatient, you've gotten so far down the road, you're ready to go live, and all of a sudden this thing happens. Things like that happen all the time. And if you want to survive as an entrepreneur, you have to know that rule number one, the unexpected is always going to happen and nothing's going to go the way that you plan for it to go. The second rule that I think is really important for entrepreneurs is kind of a combination. Number one, nobody's going to work as hard as you, period. If they are, then you're not really an entrepreneur. If you're an entrepreneur and this is your project, you're going to be working day and night. Weekends don't exist. You're going to do whatever it takes, and you can't expect your employees as they come in to actually do the same types of things that you do, because they don't have that vested interest. They don't have that drive. They're happy to be an employee. They don't want to be an owner. And so you have to lower your expectations of what you're going to expect as you start bringing people on.
Hey, now. It's sort of true.
No, I'm talking about, is it not, Tessa?
Just kidding, just kidding.
By the way, I'm not talking about executive level people. I'm talking about your rank and file employees that come in and are helping with the packaging, helping with the customer service. You can't expect them to be working 24/7 like you're going to have to do. And the third thing is you need to find a way to let go. Entrepreneurs are terrible leaders. They're terrible leaders because they're used to doing everything by themselves. And as they start bringing higher level people in, like Tessa, which is the part I was going to get to, you need to be able to step back and depend on them and surround yourself with people that are smarter than you are in their given fields, right? As an entrepreneur, you understand all of it, the whole big picture, but you want to bring in people that are technically smarter than you. Smarter meaning more knowledgeable than you in the given field that you have. So you got operations, you have marketing, you have sales, even finance, all those different areas. You need to have experts around you. So learn that there's going to be a time where you need to let go of the reins and you need to go from entrepreneur to leader. Those are the three things.
That's a lot of really good advice. Wow, Jared, good question on that one. So next question is from Corky, and that's, how do you come up with a figure when offering equity-based investment for your startup business?
It depends on how badly you need the money. It's really, there's no magic formula. It's really, it's a game of power, right? And the power is based on how badly the investor wants to get involved in what you're doing compared with how badly you need the money. So especially with the first round of financing, even if you're raising $100,000, for example, there's no investor that's going to take 3% for that kind of money, because usually the type of investor that you're talking to, that's a lot of money for kind of family and friends type investor, which would normally invest that kind of money. So there's no given rule. When some of our products are starting to go out now, we are getting some really good deals for, well, we aren't, our entrepreneurs are getting some really good deals and $1 million, $2 million valuations before they've even sold anything. So I think if you have a really well-designed product in a really great sector that's growing and you have a real competitive advantage in what you've built, the likelihood of getting a higher valuation is really good. But remember, valuation means nothing if you don't have the capital to execute. And so you just need to give up pieces. I see a bill on there next week. I see Bill on there, and he is he went out and he found an investor, and his project is taking a long time because we got to the almost finish line. There's some changes that need to be made to it, so we rolled up our sleeves, we made the changes. It's out for a quote now, but he went out in the meantime and got an investor. I'm not sure what at what valuation, but we also have Aziza from Raw Beauty Co. who started selling her product, and I think she went out and raised $95,000 for maybe 10% or so of her company.
Hi, Aziza.
So if you're getting $100,000 and you can get $1 million valuation, that's a good deal when you're not making anything at all. But again, I would personally take whatever I could if I really needed the money to get to where I needed to go.
Wonderful. All right. Excellent. So more questions. We have the time. We're going to keep going. So Sean Reed asks, can you explain the different ways that you can make money with apps? Oh, lots of good questions in the chat. I see you guys. Hold on. We have some more to finish.
That answer to that is a little bit tricky because it depends on the type of app that you're building, right? There are certain types of apps that people are used, well, most apps people are used to downloading for free. And you can't go and start charging people to download your app when everybody else is in the free field. There are other apps that make money in different ways, and I'll dig into it just a tiny bit. The free apps, you make money from advertising, right? The first thing you need to do is build a portfolio, a group of downloads. It's a significant number, and then advertisers will come on there, and that needs to be part of the platform. That's really successful. In fact, I play one game. This is how pathetic my life is. I play solitaire, and I don't want to tell you where I play it, but where I used to read the newspaper. And I can't pay for the damn game. They make me watch ads between hands, and I contacted them. Can I pay? I'll pay you $10, $20. Just, I don't want to see any more ads. They make so much money with their ads that they don't want to do that they don't have a paid version of the app. So it depends on the circumstance you're in, right? Yeah. In the food industry, they're making money on the spread. They're charging a service fee, and that service fee goes to the restaurant, but you're also paying a delivery fee. So those type of apps that are service related, like an Uber, like DoorDash, those type of apps can make money in both ways. And then Sean, yours is a service app as well. So there's a real opportunity for you to make money with every single transaction that happens on your platform.
Absolutely. So premium, freemium is kind of the model where what Fred was describing with Solitaire. It's free, but if you want to get rid of the ads, you're going to do the premium subscription, which is usually a one-time. One thing that you didn't mention, Fred, on that was subscription, literally monthly subscription to some of these apps. And that's another big way that people are making money in their apps.
And a good example of that is some of the dating apps. You're going to pay to play, especially if you're a guy. Not that I would know, but...
Great. Excellent question, Sean. I know you have other questions, Sean. We got to that one. I'm going to go through a couple others. And then, such good questions over there. If we don't get to them all, we will put them on our next show.
Let me answer one quick question that Sean asked, follow-up question.
Yes.
Does the entrepreneur own the software? Well, it depends. There it is.
Well, my banner's in the way, but it works.
Yes, the underlying software becomes the property of our entrepreneurs. But there's a warning here because a lot of people try to go and cut corners, and they'll go to India and spend $10,000, $20,000 to build an app. Well, guess what? There's nothing to own in those apps because they basically take little components off the shelf of materials that they may not even have any intellectual property rights over, and you're going to get an app, but you don't have that underlying value of ownership because there's no special code that's written for your app. There's no documentation that you can patent. So be careful. If something seems like too good of a deal, it is.
Good point. All right. So Barry Clark asks, how does crowdfunding work? And this is a big, huge question. We do have shows on crowdfunding as well, but can you just give us a little bit of a skim over on that topic?
Yeah, probably who happens to be riding a bike while watching this, which I don't recommend unless it's a stationary bike. Is getting ready. She and her partner are getting ready to do crowdfunding right now on their product. And there's two basic types of crowdfunding. There's the traditional crowdfunding, and there's also equity-based crowdfunding. So traditional crowdfunding, people are paying for something that doesn't exist yet, and you're using that money to be able to finish building it and then deliver it to them at a discount or at some benefit. The mindset of people that will pay for something that doesn't exist is, well, we have Jared that works here.
Yeah.
Last year, he's backed over 40 different items on the crowdfunding platform. And he doesn't ever say, hey, I bought this or I bought that. He says, I backed this company or I backed this entrepreneur, right? And that's a mindset of people that go on there. They're buying stuff, but part of the thrill for them is the fact that they're supporting you and helping you get to the finish line. And there's some pride of ownership there that they're contributing to your success. And they get a good deal, and they're the first ones on the block that have the product when it comes out. To make that successful costs a lot of money. I think something like 70% of all things that go to crowdfunding don't raise any money because people think they can do it by themselves. The reality is it's expensive and you need marketing dollars. And the good news is if you have a successful one, you can use the money as it comes in for additional marketing to keep the thing fueled. But it's expensive. Don't just go on there and put up a page and think you're going to raise any money. You're going to get zero for sure, or 70% chance anyway. The other one is equity crowdfunding, which we've introduced 5 of our apps to WeFunder, which is an equity crowdfunding platform. The way that works is just the same way as if you're selling equity, you're selling stock, and there's special SEC regulations that allow this to happen. And you can go on there and you can raise $250,000 to $5 million using equity crowdfunding. So that's a solution we're trying to do for apps, because with an app, you can't do a regular crowdfunding because you don't have anything to sell for the most part.
Beautiful. And that is amazing opportunity for those the app partners that we have on our chat with us today. So if you have an app and you haven't talked to marketing yet, let me know, because that's something that we can make sure that we're addressing with you if you have one of those paths that you are going in. And really, it's going to be a conversation with our dev team, but at least I can get the door open for you guys. Right. So the next question that we have is on, let's see, Instagram. So you mentioned your Instagram page earlier, and now you talk a lot on your Instagram page about life and not just entrepreneurship. Why is that?
That's a great question. I don't want to just create an entrepreneur. I want to create an environment where you can have a better life all around. And so if you can look at some of the most successful companies in the world that blew up and went to zero, companies like Enron, companies like WorldCom, they had what it took to be entrepreneurial and to grow, and actually grow massively. But they didn't have the ethical fortitude to do things the right way. So if I just teach people how to be entrepreneurial without teaching them how to have a heart and how to make the right decisions and how to be the right type of person at home and in their regular life, I'm creating people that are going to either fail in the business or fail in their relationships. So when I try to focus on the whole picture. You know, we need to create good human beings that can become great leaders of really awesome companies. And you can't miss that first part, because if you do, you have people that, as I said, cut corners, that do shady deals, that will grow at any length or for any purpose using any tactic. And so for me, it's really important that you become the best person you can be, so you can become the best leader there is. And by the way, happy home, happy business. Your life and your business kind of merges into one. If you're doing what you really feel you were meant to do, if you're following your purpose, if you are being mindful of all your decisions, and if you're thinking about not just you, but your employees, your stakeholders, your customers, your suppliers, and your family. That's why.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Fred. I'm going to go through a couple more things, so don't go anywhere. But
Yeah.
we had Aziza just wanted to say that she loves your IG page, and it's very motivational for the partners and entrepreneurs. And that
by the way, that's Aziza's son.
That is not Aziza. That's true. So let's see. There were a couple. So Kyle, Barry, Jesse, Mike, you all will have another show that's all your questions were towards the marketing side. So we're going to get the right experts to answer your questions. Don't worry on that. We also had some in the chat. So I had one from Steve. I'm going to find him and then put him up here because he had a great question. Oh goodness, there's so many. Okay. Steve, where'd you go? Oh, there you are. Okay. As a startup, how do you best go about building a team in support of your idea? You covered this a little bit, but I think this is a great way how to keep them happy and productive as you scale. Anything to avoid?
Yeah, you need to avoid the things that I talked about a little bit earlier of becoming a micromanager, right? The core team that you're going to build around you, you're probably not going to hire them using LinkedIn or something like that. It's going to be somebody who knows someone else, and it's kind of a referral system, people you can trust. In fact, I don't think that I have even done an ad for anybody on my leadership. It's all, I know this guy, I know this other guy, this woman's awesome, this guy's amazing. And so you build organically from the relationships that you have. That's the best way to do it, because now, just like anything else, right? You can go and you can look at Yelp and you can see all these reviews for a restaurant, but you have one of your best friends say, hey, this restaurant is awesome. That carries a lot of weight, and it's a lot more weight than what you're going to see in a Yelp review or in a LinkedIn job application. So if you can get those core people around you that you can trust, and then as you build out your organization, you're going to use their experience to start bringing people in, and don't bring too many too fast. Okay, you can get people pretty quickly, but having people that you have to then let go creates a morale issue in the company. So always try to run lean and be able to pick up the pace when it happens, but don't be bloated where you're burning cash and you're destroying morale and motivation once you start letting 25% of your staff go.
Go. Perfect. What last question, and then I saw Odin, you had great questions as well. I'm going to put those on our list for next week since we're almost at the end of our time today. But last question, Brandon is asking, what growing pains have you personally experienced in IdeaPros since its inception? Good question.
Well, first of all, there's no apostrophe in it.
I think this one, he wrote it fast. Well, we won't judge. We won't judge. I'm actually spelling my board right today, so that's always good.
On literally everything you can imagine. There is an emotional component to what we do, such that we are a startup ourselves, and in IdeaPros, we're doing something that nobody has ever done before. And in fact, I have colleagues that have been in business as long as me that say nobody's crazy enough to do this, so you don't have to worry about too many competitors coming on board. The difficulties are for every entrepreneurial journey is a painful journey. And you're carrying the weight of 300 painful journeys on your shoulders. And when you are burdened with being as empathetic as I like to believe I am, and loving of all my partners, then that's a burden that's just beyond the the business element of it, and it goes right to the heart, you know. And so when I have an entrepreneur that's in pain or nervous or has delays, it's a big burden to do that. And so it's really hard as one entrepreneurial venture. I'm carrying the weight of 300 people that sometimes are elated, sometimes are frustrated, sometimes are angry, and sometimes want to kiss me all of a sudden. It's kind of schizophrenic in that sense. The other components of it are that this is a massive undertaking, and things take a little longer. It takes a little longer, or maybe in some cases a lot longer, because we're going for A+ quality, and we have to cut the cost of things. So when you try to balance quality and cost down here, it's something people have never done. And we're able to do that because we have contractors that are beholden to us and that really are contractors only for our company. But even that is a real growing pain. And I think the final thing is what I said earlier. I think it was the first question, what I said earlier about entrepreneurs. For some of our entrepreneurs in IdeaPros, they haven't had to feel the pain. And so when the pain, other than timelines, and so when the pain comes at the end, when they have to take the reins and everything, some people get overwhelmed and they don't know if they can handle it. Some people want to bail. And I think the one thing that I've learned that we need to do a better job at, and that's why I have these video courses that I finally have them in my hands, and we're going through them now. Because we have to train all of you to be world-class entrepreneurs and to experience the pain. When you go watch that video, if you do, on Instagram about the 25-year-old guy and what he went through, that was my first painful journey, and I've had a lot more. So trying to grow something like this out of love and out of your compassion as well as your experience and your connections, it's a peanut butter and jelly, and you got to get the mixture just right. And I think we're really, really close now, and it's really been worth it. And I know that there's a lot of things launching now that are already looking to do really well.
Wonderful. And Brandon, we see you. He said he did text to voice on that, or voice to text on it. So don't judge too harshly. So thank you so much, Fred, for answering all these questions. I mean, I think we have a lot to go off of, and every one of these lives with Fred, we learn so much. I know Jared says that too. He's definitely giving us lots of love. I'm pretty sure he was trying to say love you, Fred.
Well, I know it's time to go, but you said there was, thanks, Mike. You said there was a lot of marketing questions, and yes. Let me just say something in general about marketing. Especially in today's world. It's been true all along, but in today's world especially, marketing is the lifeblood of your organization. And so when Tessa or Simon come on and they're teaching you tactics and things like that you should do in marketing, you need to understand deep inside, the only way people are going to know who you are as a company or as a product is through the marketing efforts, right? Human beings, you and I can go sit down for a half an hour, have a beer, and talk, and you're going to learn something about me. Nobody knows anything about a company, because a company, this is a company. It's not something that you can touch and feel. And so when I spend a whole lot of time in naming and branding and positioning and colors and messaging, it's because you're creating this kind of artificial human being in a sense, right? That's why Apple can charge twice as much for a computer that has half as much computing power as a PC, because they love that person. And so when you think of marketing as not as tactics that you have to do, but as the very lifeblood of your organization and the products that you build, then you're going to understand how important it is. So we can do a show on that, because I love marketing. I live by it, because that's a representation of who we are.
Absolutely. Well, I'll take you up on that, because I love those topics, nerdy things like pixels and all of that. So We will have that next up. And right now I'm going to let Fred go, but I'm going to really reply to everyone. I see you guys' comments over there. But before that, Fred, do you have any final thoughts for us today?
Yeah. Number one, congratulations. If you guys are here and weathering the storm of entrepreneurship, and you're still rolling your sleeves up, no matter what your personal circumstances, then you're on the right track. It is really hard to be an entrepreneur. You're giving up everything, all the comforts and the cushiness of the life you're used to, and you're embarking on something that there is no GPS or Google Map for. And stay the course. No matter what happens in front of you, no matter what ditches you have to find a way to jump over, no matter what rivers you have to navigate or mountains you need to climb, if you're in the right space in your head, you're going to be able to do whatever it is that you set out to do in the first place. So you have an awesome idea, you're an awesome person, use the fortitude, strength, patience, and dedication that you have inside of you that made you become an entrepreneur in the first place. And you're going to get there.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Fred. We'll let you go. And for all of you, hey, Rob, good to see you. For all of you that are on with us every single week, thank you. Thank you. If you haven't already hit the bell to get reminders when we go live, that's going to make sure that we're in your feed. But you can also get texted so you have it right at your fingertips. So the link to be able to get notifications when we are going to go live by text, you can do that with the link in our post. And Aziza, yes, I do want to put that up on here. If you're on IG or Instagram, follow Raw Beauty Co. It's raw_beauty co. Amazing product. Aziza is one of our partners who's absolutely, her product's amazing. You guys have to check it out. We have lots and lots of partners that are on with us today. I just want to take a quick second to recognize you all. So Chris, thank you so much for being on here. Jeff, Yadira, Brandon, I know we had your questions. Sean Reed, I'm always love seeing our partners participating in these lives. Odin, I saw your questions and I'll definitely put those on the next one. Shilpa, good to have you. Martin, Michael, Barry. Oh my gosh, Jason. And Jason is so dedicated. Talk about entrepreneur. This guy has, I think, 160 or 180 blogs already written for his business. It's unbelievable. He is a force to be reckoned with for sure. So Abel, Kelly, Kyle, great to have you guys here. Hector, Kyle, definitely we're going to cover your question. That was a marketing question that Fred was just going over. We'll have that on there. And Corey over, and that is Bongo. Excited. I love Bongo. Can't wait for that to come out. Steve Brown and Eclipse. If you guys haven't checked out Eclipse, Steve is amazing. Vance, Eric, oh my gosh, we had so many people today. Irene, thank you all. And Ken, with CrashPad, definitely. Ken with CrashPad, check out crashpadproducts.com. He has his product. He's actually trying to get into manufacturing even bigger quantities now. I know we have Bill with Goliath. He's got his website up and everything. Tim, great to have you guys here. We will see you all. Let's see. Katie, I see you as well. And Shelly Timmer, big deal with what Shelly is launching right now. I know Fred mentioned that you were on a bike, being very consistent with watching us. And if you have any other questions that you guys want Fred to answer next round, please, you can reply to the text that came out. You can submit them on this post. If we didn't get them answered, we definitely move them over into our specific, so just seeing your comments, guys. Sorry. Martin, thank you so much. Guys, we'll see you next week. I hope you have a great week, and stay, definitely follow official Fred Cary. He goes live on Wednesdays. We have this live, and then we're also going to be announcing a lot of partners, having them come on to our lives on Friday so that they can talk about their products and apps that are launching, because we have a lot of them that are coming up. And really, if you guys, if there's any topics that we haven't covered yet that you want us to do on one of these Friday live shows, let me know. We'll talk to you all next week. Thanks. Bye.